how's everyone doing? And as all of you know, Warner Brothers announced that Ben Affleck will play Batman in the new Man of Steel movie, where Batman faces off against Superman, which was announced during the recent Comic-Con convention as well. And this has just blew up the internet. Every, comic fanboy out there is just up in rage and up in arms, and there's tons of backlash, petitions with thousands of signatures saying they don't want Ben Affleck to play Batman. It's all kinds of craziness, and I've had tons of people, message me. I've had people, as soon as it happened, the night before, I got text messages. I'm like, oh my gosh, Facebook messages on YouTube, people just going nuts. What do you think? Is this crazy? No, calm down. It's not crazy. Ben Affleck, 10 years ago, I could understand, all the distress. He did Geely, he did, all the Kevin Smith films, his character in Dazed and Confused, which I thought his character was great in that, by the way. But, he did Geely, Daredevil, all those kind of Kevin Smith films, so people thought of him that way. And I can understand it if he was cast that 10 years ago. But this isn't 10 years ago. This is a whole different new Ben Affleck. He's a fantastic director, and he's come into his own as an actor. He directed and starred in The Town and Argo, and he had a huge snub from the Oscars for not being nominated for Best Director for Argo. It won Best Picture. How is he not even nominated for Best Director? That's crazy talk. But Ben Affleck, I think he's come a long way since, Geely and Daredevil and all those different films. He's done great movies like Hollywoodland, State of Play, The Company Man. Those are all fantastic movies where he showed his acting chops and his acting range as well. He does have a depth of emotion as well. He recently did the new Terrence Malick film, Into the Wonder. That movie is kind of more artistic and kind of a surreal movie, but he showed some acting range in it, even though there wasn't a lot of dialogue in the film. You could see it in his face and his emotions. So he does have some depth, and I actually think he will be a great Bruce Wayne. But Batman, it's kind of hard to see. I know he kind of covers the face, but it's kind of hard for me to picture Ben Affleck being kind of tough like that and being that kind of darker role. I know Daredevil, he was in that role, but I think, Daredevil, it wasn't a great movie, but it wasn't a horrible movie. Some people just shred that movie. I didn't think it was that bad, and I don't think Ben Affleck was the reason that it got such negative reviews. I think it was more the writing for that movie. And while he has played that superhero role before, I think Batman is a much darker and much layered character than Daredevil. I do like the Daredevil character. It does have, some layers to it, but Batman, it's Batman. I mean, you have Superman, Spider-Man, and Batman. Those are the big three huge superheroes, most popular ones. And, Ben Affleck, he's hot right now. He's popular. You got Argo, The Town, all the different things that he's doing, and he's working with great directors, Terrence Malick as well. Zack Snyder's going to be directing, I guess, the new Man of Steel movie, and I know the recent Man of Steel movie that just came out did not do too well, got pretty negative reviews. If you've seen the recent Man of Steel movie, definitely let me know what you think of that as well. And if you're not happy with the Ben Affleck choice for the new Batman in the Man of Steel movie coming out, who do you think would be a better Batman? I've heard people say Carl Urban. I've heard people say Michael Fassbender. I've heard a ton of different people. Personally, I think Michael Fassbender is too skinny and gangly for Batman, not as imposing, but he could probably put on some muscle weight. But Carl Urban, I could see, but he's a little gruff, maybe polish him up a little bit more. I can see him doing Batman, but not necessarily Bruce Wayne. And people complain like crazy when Heath Ledger was cast as the Joker. People were saying, Brokeback Joker and things like that, because he was just coming off of Brokeback Mountain. He did some kind of romantic comedy movies as well. Ben Affleck did, Bounce and other romantic comedy movies, and Pearl Harbor was more focused on the romantic aspect as well. And but people weren't too sure about Heath Ledger as well. People were all negative about that, and that turned out great. And Michael Keaton as well. People were complaining about Michael Keaton as Batman, and for me, Michael Keaton is my favorite Batman. People are saying now that, oh, George Clooney isn't going to be the worst Batman now. I think people forget about Val Kilmer, too. Val Kilmer wasn't exactly a great Batman. We haven't had necessarily a great selection. People are just thinking about, recent years with the Dark Knight Nolan trilogy with Christian Bale. Christian Bale's a great actor. I was never a fan of his voice as Batman, but he separated himself from it, and he was a great actor overall, so people had no qualms with that. But Michael Keaton, for me, love Michael Keaton. Very underappreciated, underrated for Batman as well. And, Michael Keaton did some poor movies as well. He did the one where he had the different clones. I think it was Multiplicity, and then he did Jack Frost. Come on, he did some bad movies too. You can't just single out Ben Affleck. I think people just single him out because, it's supposed to be Geely was supposed to be one of the worst movies ever made and things like that. Come on, calm down. That was like a decade ago. This is new Ben Affleck. This is, brand new, coming into his own as one of the better directors of this generation. And, you know, he's coming into his own as an actor as well. Definitely showing a great range, and I think he'll be a good Batman. I'm looking forward to it personally. Give it a fair chance. You know, everybody's getting crazy. I've seen so many posts and people complaining of rant videos. Calm down. Calm down. Just give it a chance first. All these people complain about so many other roles for other people, and then they ended up loving them. So that's all I'm saying. Give it a chance. This new Man of Steel movie, it's going to make a lot of money in the box office. It's got buzz already. For all those people hating on the Ben Affleck, they're going to go see it just to, you know, see how, oh, they're going to complain, like, oh, he was crappy in this part and that part. They're going to still go see it to complain, and it's just going to drive up the numbers. It's going to boost all the hype around it. And I think that's part of the reason Warner decided to go this route, because they had to have known there's going to be some backlash, and that's just going to create more buzz. And there's people that hate on Zack Snyder as well. There's people that, you know, that just complain about the recent Man of Steel movie, so it's just going to be a ton of buzz, and people are still going to go see this movie. And as long as Ben doesn't do the Boston accent from Good Will Hunting, do you have the car keys for the bat pad? We could pack it and have a yard. That was a horrible accent. I'm really sorry for that, but I just had to throw that out there as well. And so all the people making rant videos and signing petitions to get Ben off the project as Batman, you can argo fuck yourself. But for me personally, I'm for Ben Affleck doing this. I'm going to give him a shot. You know, I think he's great as Bruce Wayne. It's going to be a little bit hard for me to picture him being like the tough Batman movie, even though he did do Daredevil, which is kind of, you know, a similar role. But I think Batman is just, I want a little bit tougher grittierness. I want to see what can happen there. I'm going to give him a fair chance there. And I think that's what everybody should do. Give Ben Affleck a fair chance. I feel like that old Britney Spears video, leave Ben Affleck alone! Leave him alone! But seriously, let me know what you guys think of the casting for Ben Affleck as Batman in the new Man of Steel movie. And if you don't like the casting choice, who do you think would be a better casting choice for Batman? Let me know. Leave me a comment or video response down below. Hope everyone's doing well. Take care.